welcome to True Creativity Insights. I know it's been a long time. I think my last video is probably at the end of 2022. A lot has been going on this year, and I had to just kind of put the YouTube series aside. But I'm here to give you an update on a few things. First off, like I said, 2023 was quite a busy year. It was the first year that I actually was teaching in person since the pandemic. So I actually did a lot of workshops and I did a retreat this year. So it was really awesome to be out and connecting face to face with people. So, but it did keep me quite busy. It was also quite enlightening year as well. I know for many of you, including myself, this year has also been a challenging year with everything going on in the world. For one big thing that was for me was seeing my beloved city, Lahaina, burnt down to the ground in August. That just like really put me off for a month. I just I was just heartbroken to see that, and I really had to process a lot of stuff that was connected to that city. And then even after that, it was just, I don't know about you, but it feels like one thing after another. And I know for me, just having all this stuff going on, it just was sort of chipping away. I felt anxious. I felt like, I just didn't want to go out in the world. It was starting to feel unsafe, and it's just a weird time because we were just coming out of the pandemic, really feeling like we're having, our lives are back to normal. But what's really strange is there's this sort of undertone of stress, and I guess a lot of people are referring to it as not just anxiety, but kind of trauma. I'm seeing a lot of that in terms of people experiencing trauma in their bodies, in their nervous system, and that the importance of really needing to address that and healing that. So I think part of my updates here is that I myself was feeling kind of that as well. And you know what I've come to realize and what I'm learning now for myself is that trauma doesn't always have to be something extremely traumatic. It can be these sort of small pockets of trauma that go on even in our lives. Maybe we have an altercation on the road with another driver, or an altercation with somebody else, or maybe it was just a bad conversation on the phone. That can really put trauma or stress on our nervous system in general, on top of whatever else is going on in our life whatever else is going on outside in different parts of the world. And I think I confess that I have a tendency to just scroll on Instagram, looking at different people's art and different inspiration and stuff like that. But unfortunately, what gets in there is also some of these reels of disasters, natural disasters that are going on in the world, different parts of the world. There's stuff that you don't really, unfortunately what happens is we're consuming this stuff. I'm seeing this also in the stuff that's on TV, like the documentaries, even movies. It's like an underlying darkness and negativity. I have to say negativity. And there was something that I, learned when I was in therapy. There was a term called compassion fatigue. And I also, compassion fatigue was often associated with, for therapists who are constantly exposed to stories of trauma and by their clients. And after a while, it kind of takes a chip away at your sense of hope and sense of peace, a sense of well-being. So it was important as therapists to find ways to regroup, to reconnect to the things that actually feed us and the things that make us whole, and to remind us of who we are and the things that bring us joy and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm kind of reminded of that in terms of how much stuff we're exposed to on social media, through the media, TV, entertainment, whatever it is. I'm starting to actually filter that, because I realize that it does affect how I feel. So I just had to talk a little bit about that. Anyway, so which is important, because this is why I feel like I'm going to take True Creativity Within in a different direction. I have been teaching mixed media art classes for almost 9 years now. I really immersed myself in coming up with different classes and different techniques during the pandemic. Many of my students who have been following me for a long time know this. And I came to the conclusion that there is so much more in the creative process. So, and also there was a part of me, and this has been going on for many years, there's a part of me that wants to really dive deeper into what true creativity within is really about. So, I'll back up here for a minute. Ever since the pandemic, everybody, all the art teachers, mixed media teachers, everybody has now been able to get online and teach what their expertise and teach classes and workshops, which is awesome, which is really great, because it's given us a platform to really expand the opportunities to be creative, the opportunities to learn new art techniques, the opportunities to actually be exposed to new and creative things, which is awesome. And I think that's great, because now many of you have that opportunity to learn from a whole variety of teachers and a whole variety of styles, whether that's abstract or ceramics, or it's an exciting time. So there's a part of me that actually is leaning more towards now the creative spirit, the self-care, utilizing an art practice for wellness. So you're going to see some changes, and I'm really excited about this, because you're going to see some new changes, some new branding happening with True Creativity Within. So one of the things that I'm really excited about is that I started a new membership, and this is actually, I did a trial run last year. It was really successful. I was excited with the students that I had in this class, but I'm actually expanding this membership, and it's called the Creative Spirit Connection. So part of the membership is that we meet once a month, and I go over a lesson. I go over whether it's relating to self-care, self-awareness, unblocking your creativity, connecting to your inner wisdom, whatever topic it is. I teach it once a month. We meet on a Sunday, the second Sunday of each month. And then I couple that up with an art practice so that you can actually take that intention and infuse that into your art practice. And I expose you to different art practices so that you have a collection of different ways to immerse yourself in that process of connecting not only to your own inner wisdom, but connecting to your center through art making, through an art practice. So that's what Creative Spirit Connection is really about. But I'm also going to be offering some other things in the membership, like exclusive workshops. Like, for example, if I come up with something that I'm really inspired to teach, or I'm excited about a new project or technique, I'm going to be teaching that within the Creative Spirit Connection membership. As well as I'm going to be inviting other artists and other creative individuals to share their story in terms of how creativity has been a way to regroup, recenter and reconnect with themselves. And the reason why this is important is because I believe that we get to a place, and this has happened for me, to be honest. When you get really good at the project making, you get really good at the mixed media techniques, and you've tried a bunch of different things, there gets to a point where something is calling you to go deeper, to find something more meaningful, maybe to find something that is beyond yourself, that is directly connected to your creativity and your art making. So you might be able to relate to this. You might be craving something deeper with the art. Like, for example, I find myself feeling like if I'm making another project, feeling like just unsatisfied. Nothing really inspires me or that I'm working on. So I feel like I want to try something else. But what I'm really discovering is I want a deeper relationship with creativity. So part of that is really understanding, and this is part of what I'll be teaching in Creative Spirit Connection, is really understanding the true purpose of why creativity is there. Why has it always inherently been part of being human? So I'm going to dive a little deeper into that too. I'm also hoping to be able to provide more inspiration, encouragement, and support in this membership as well, so that you can take your art practice to a whole other level in your life. It is also a way to encourage you guys to utilize art making as a wellness practice. In other words, it's easy to say, when I have extra time, I'm going to make art. When I, maybe further down the line, I'll make art. How often, and I'm guilty of this, how often have you put off art making because you just had you just either were resistant to creating, maybe you felt like you had some self-doubt or insecurities around it, or maybe you had some block around it, or maybe you just felt like, and this is one of the things I want to teach, is to sort of debunk the idea of, well, creativity is meant as a hobby, or it's meant to do when you have extra time, right? Extra time, as if it's not important. And that is one of the things I want to emphasize, especially during these challenging times, because there's a lot to process, digest from the world. And we need a place. And I'm not saying it has to be art making. That seems to be my sacred space and my process. But a place, whether it's meditation, yoga, hiking, taking a walk in nature, to sort of relieve yourself of that stress and anxiety. And because what happens is we sort of lose touch with who we are. We lose touch with that center when we have all this stuff going on outside. And then, with creativity, we have a tendency to put it off as, oh, I'll do it when I have time. But I'm here to say you need to do it on a regular basis. And it doesn't have to be a big blown, fully blown out project that has to be perfectly done. It can be the simplest art practice. And that's one of the things that I'm going to be teaching in the Creative Spirit Connection. So I wanted to share that with you. You're going to see some changes on my website and even with some of the posts that I have on social media. And if you're not following me yet, please find me on Instagram, find me on Facebook. I'm going to be putting out some posts to help you just inspire your creativity in a positive way and deeper and more meaningful way. Also, I just launched my retreat, my 2024 retreat, Awakening the Invisible Power of Your Creativity. I invite you to check that out. I hope that for those of you who have not yet attended, please consider attending this retreat. It's different than my other retreats that have been strictly mixed media projects. This one is a whole different thing. I did it this year. It was awesome. I'm fine-tuning what I teach. We actually dive into the mark making. So here, this is what I want to talk about is the mark making, the doodling, the collaging, the just following the watercolor. All of that is on such a basic level because I believe that part of returning to our pure, true creativity is practicing stuff that we used to do when we were a kid. Or, before we even started writing letters or alphabets and sentences, we were making marks. I was just remembering, actually, that I found a little journal that has a bunch of marks on the pages. And those were made by my son before he even knew how to start writing his alphabets. So that's just an example of we start making marks as a kid. And we need to return to that. We need to return to the curiosity we had when we put pen to paper, crayon to paper, paintbrush to paper, whatever it was. Might even could be lipstick to paper. When you were a kid, you just grabbed anything and you were just curious, what would that look like? So part of that is during my retreat. Also, collaging is a very basic, where we tear pieces of paper and we just glue that down and see where that lands. So, awaken the invisible power of your creativity is really about helping you return to some of those basic inclinations when you were younger. It also is returning to some of the basic techniques that early humans, ancient artists did. Some of the first art, and in fact, I think the very first art that they found was a mark carved in a block of sandstone. So that is so, I think, important for us to return to what is true, basic, in order to connect to that deeper creativity within us. So I just wanted to share that's some of the exciting things that are happening in 2024. I'm also hoping, I don't know if this is going to turn out or not, but I'm hoping to start a podcast as well. If that, the technology, I know it's really easy, but on the back end, all that goes into that, even here, the back end that goes into a video, I have to edit and put it together and upload it. So I'm hoping to really, really focus true creativity within on going to be really focused on more of the creative spirit connection. So I hope you will go to the website, check it out. I invite you to really consider, if you want to do an art practice, if you want to stay creative, to join my new membership, Creative Spirit Connection, and to even consider joining my retreat. So that's what's going on with me. There's a lot going on. I'm trying to stay kind of grounded and connected to my own creativity. But I think this, in a way, this is actually a whole inspired creative process in itself. So I hope you are doing well. Thanks for watching. For those of you who have continued to watch my videos, even though I haven't posted in over a year, thank you, thank you. Please subscribe to my YouTube. I'm gonna, try to get more videos up and keep you posted on what's going on. So stay creative, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.